Hey everyone, what's up? This is the official start to my channel's Fallout 20th anniversary celebration, and to kick this off, I'm going to talk about Fallout 1. There is no better way to start this celebration off than to talk about the game that started it all. And this is going to be a video where I'm just having a laid-back conversation about the game. This is going to be a long video, and it's not going to be in the same style as my reviews. This is going to be a different structure. I'm going to be all over the place. I'm going to talk off the top of my head. It's just going to be a laid-back conversation. Two more things before we move on. One, there will be spoilers in this video. You have been warned. And you're going to see more raw gameplay in the background. There's not going to be as many clips, but there are different clips. So with that being said, let's get started with this long conversation about Fallout 1. Now, I think the best way to start off this long conversation, this tribute, is to say this. All hail Ron fucking Perlman. He is the voice of Fallout. He narrated Fallout 1, 2, Tactics, 3, and New Vegas. Fallout's intro is legendary, just like the rest of the game, and there is no better voice to narrate Fallout than Ron fucking Perlman. He is the voice of Fallout. Any Fallout game that comes out in the future, he should be the narrator. He should narrate every future Fallout game until the day he dies. Ron fucking Perlman. Fallout is one of those rare games that I can play over and over again and not get bored ever. I must have replayed this game over a dozen times in the past 2 years, and I'm always trying to do something different. I've done a melee build, I've played as a character that was extremely good in energy weapons, I've played as a character that did not get the power armor, he just ran around in leather armor to see if he can beat the game like that. I've played as a character that was extremely good at lockpicking and science just to see how it affects the game differently than my other builds. And there's just so much you can do. There's a lot of replayability in this game. It never gets boring to me. Now, over the past 2 years, ever since I put my Fallout 2 review out, I've gotten a little bit of flack because I said I thought Fallout 2 was a little bit better than Fallout 1. But here's the thing, they're both great games. It was a really tough choice to choose between Fallout 1 or 2, but that doesn't mean that I hate one game or I think Fallout 1 is trash. No, it's the opposite. They're both fantastic games, and when you really have to struggle between picking which game you like better, you know they're two great games. And one thing, well, a couple of things that Fallout does better than Fallout 2 and any other game in the series is it gives you that sense of you being isolated. The world is closing in on you, and it just really gives you that sense of fear and the unknown. Think about this. In this game, you are just set out into the wilderness. That's it. There's no 20-minute cutscene explaining everything. You get the intro, and then you get that bastard overseer to tell you, hey, you have to get this water chip. I'm relying on you, sonny. And then he just kicks you out into the world. Your character has never seen the outside. He doesn't know anything about it. He spent his life living in a vault, being isolated from the rest of the world. He didn't think there was an outside world. His only world that he ever knew was the vault. Then your character gets kicked out, and he just has to fend for himself, explore the world, and help your vault get this water chip. If that doesn't scream isolation, paranoia, and all your fears coming true, I don't know what does. And to add insult to injury, as soon as you get the water chip, you have to deal with a much bigger problem. You have to deal with all these fucking super mutants running around, the super mutant army, and you have to figure out what to do with them. Man, the Vault Dweller had to deal with so much stuff, and the thing is, it's so crazy because not only is he dealing with all that stuff, he's learning about the world as well. Imagine this. Imagine if, for all you teenagers out there, or just anyone, imagine if your parents raised you in a basement, and they never told you anything about the outside. They fed you, they clothed you, they took care of you, but they didn't tell you anything about the outside. Your whole life, all you known is the bathroom and the basement and the little cot that you sleep on. And as soon as you turn 16 or 18, your parents just kick you out. They say, hey, we need your help with something. Brad or Maxine or whoever the fuck, just go outside and do this favor for us. And you just step out into the world for the first time. That's pretty fucked up, right? Well, that's what the Overseer did, and let me tell you, The Master is not the antagonist in Fallout 1. No, I will tell you who the real antagonist is. The real antagonist, the real prick, the motherfucking piece of shit is the Overseer. I actually have some sympathy for the Master, Richard Gray, as he was known before he was called the Master, before he turned into this freak, this fucking being that started this damn super mutant army. I can sympathize with Richard Gray. He went crazy. He went into fucking the military base and he got thrown into the damn goo and he turned into this creature. He went crazy, and let's be fair, he did make some good points, even though the ultimate flaw in his plan was, first of all, you can't force people to be super mutants. That's not what freedom is. And two, super mutants can't reproduce, so how are they going to live on throughout the years? What legacy are they going to leave behind? They can't have any kids. But besides that, what he said about humans are true. It's like we always take 5 steps forward and 6 steps back. The only thing we know how to do is destroy. We let our envy, we let our jealousy, we let our hatred of others, we let our fear of the unknown rule over us. We let it rule over us so much that even in a society that's destroyed by nuclear weapons, even if it takes 100, 200, 300 years, we can never come together for the sole purpose of surviving in a way that's beneficial to us all. And if you really think about the Fallout timeline and what happens after Fallout 1, Fallout 2, Fallout Tactics, New Vegas 3, 4, whatever, even that piece of shit on the PS2 that I will not acknowledge by name, think about it. We always fuck shit up. We always form our little gangs, our little cliques together, and we always try to take power. We always let our personal quest for greed or our envy of others, our jealousy of others, our insecurities, we always let that rule over us. Why? Because humans are imperfect. And I think that was the overall point that the Master was saying, and he does have a fucking point. So I can sympathize with the Master. I can't sympathize with the motherfucking Overseer. And you know why. For those of you that are watching this video, you know the story. You know that there's spoilers in this video, so you know what happened. You know why he's a piece of shit. This motherfucking Overseer, he sends you out into the world. You do all these fucking favors. You get the water chip. You stop the super mutant army from taking over the damn area, from killing everybody or turning them into super mutants. And what does he say when you come back? Oh, congratulations, you're a hero. By the way, Vault Dweller, you can't come back to the vault. You can't see all your friends. You can't see all your loved ones. I'm going to kick you out. You're a hero, but you can't come in. It's a perfect ending. It's the perfect, depressing, fucked up ending for the game. I will not say anything bad about the ending in Fallout 1. It was perfect, but it's so fucked up. This damn Overseer, he can't even let you back in to see your friends, to see the people that were like family to you. He just kicks you out. He won't let you back in. This motherfucker doesn't even give you some supplies. He doesn't even sit here and say, hey, well, thanks for saving our asses. Thanks for giving us water and stopping the super mutants. Here's some caps. Here's some weapons. Here's some ammo. Something. No, he just says, I can't let you back in. Other people would want to leave. Dipshit. You stupid Overseer. People, they're going to want to leave anyways. It's just human nature to want to explore. And the cat's out the bag now. It's your fault. You sent that motherfucker out. People know about him leaving the wasteland. People are going to want to go outside. But no, he kicks you out without any help. I don't know how anyone can sympathize with the Overseer. I don't know how. He's just a fucked up. He's really the antagonist in this game. I hate that motherfucker, that Sasquatch looking son of a bitch. Damn. I've wanted to say that about the Overseer for a while. I originally was going to upload a separate video about that, but it's best to leave it in here. I have a lot of fond memories about Fallout, and one of the reasons why I have fond memories is because of how bad I was at the game when I first played it. I'm sure some of you watched a video where I talk about my first time playing and I was drunk and I almost broke my mouse and I was shouting at the sky. Yeah, I know it's a stupid thing to do. I was drunk. I'm sure we've all done stupid stuff, and when I'm drunk, I'm really crazy. Even crazier than normal, but hey, we're all fucked up in our own ways, and sometimes it's very entertaining. You can admit that, and I'm sure that video was entertaining to some of you. But I can't believe how bad I was at the game when I first played it. When I went to Vault 15, when I first played the game, I did not know that you needed 2 ropes in order to get down there. And another thing that I did that was fucked up was I waited until the super mutants invaded Necropolis in order to go in there and try to get the water chip. So by the time I got in there, when I was first playing the game, I thought that that's just the way it was, that you had to fight all these damn super mutants. And I must have spent 6 hours over the course of 2 days trying to fight these guys, and no matter what I do, I just couldn't do it, and I almost rage quitted until I found out that no, dipshit, you don't have to wait until the super mutants invade Necropolis. You can just go there right from the start and get it over with, because there's a much bigger mission at hand. Oh boy, just looking back. But I will admit, when I first played Fallout 1, I got really lucky. I ran into the special encounter where you see the UFO that crashed and you get the alien blaster. Yeah, I know it makes the game much easier, but I love that fucking gun. All you gotta do is shoot it once or twice and you disintegrate enemies no matter what. And I loved using that on the super mutants because those motherfuckers would gang up on me, and even though they're not as annoying as the Enclave in Fallout 2 when they gang up on you, I still hated them shooting me with a rocket launcher and using their fucking miniguns on me, just shooting those fuckers and watching them disintegrate. It was really satisfying. And the thing about the alien blaster is you don't even need to be that good in energy weapons. One of my playthroughs, my character only had like 20 or 30% in energy weapons, and all he had to do was get really close to them because he couldn't shoot it far away because he sucked at the skill. But once he got really close, he just disintegrated motherfuckers in 1 or 2 shots. So I love that gun, and I love the Easter eggs, the special encounters in Fallout. It's just really entertaining. One of them, I believe, was you see this like gigantic fucking footprint, and I'll show footage in the background. You see this gigantic dinosaur footprint, maybe the Tyrannosaurus Rex, and another one was a reference to, I believe, Doctor Who, where you see this phone booth and it disappears. And I'm not going to name all of them because I want you to look it up for yourself, but it's just very entertaining. And before I move on with anything else, I want to give props and kudos to the people that worked at Interplay, not only for an amazing game, but also for how they implemented skill checks and the dialogue system. I'll give you one example of them implementing a skill check in a clever way. For example, the repair skill may not seem like it will help you much. I did not use the repair skill that much in any of my playthroughs. I didn't invest a lot of points into it, but it can help you in a major way. There are only 2 ways to get power armor in Fallout. As far as I know, only 2 ways. One way is to do a side quest for one of the Brotherhood of Steel members. If you do the quest for him, he gives you an option to pick from different gifts for completing the quest, and if your reputation is high enough, I believe it's your reputation that determines whether you get it or not. One of the choices is a set of power armor, but if you don't have that reputation, you won't get it. But there's another way. You're not completely fucked. If you have a high enough repair skill, you can trick one of the BOS members into giving you a part. You can repair a set of broken power armor that is on the 3rd or 4th floor, and there you go. So props to Interplay for that. I think some people forget to look back at the first Fallout and really learn about what Fallout 1 contributed to role-playing games and the universe that it created. Fallout has really interesting lore, even though the timeline's fucked up because of Bethesda and some of it's not canon anymore, and just the lore is just really fucked up and convoluted. But just going back and looking at the universe it created, if you're someone that's into looking up lore and looking up the background of how things got to the way they were in different universes, definitely look up the Fallout timeline, read the Fallout Bible, and just look up some of the events that happened before Fallout, and look up the events that happened in the game itself. It's just so interesting, and I just love reading the Fallout Bible. I love looking at the timeline, seeing different events, refreshing my memory, and I'm not a big reader, but this stuff is so cool. And one of my favorite things to read about in the Fallout lore is the Master's actions. How this entity, how Richard Grey turned into this vile, disgusting, atrocious looking creature, and how he just went to different areas. He invaded different areas and just massacred people, kidnapped them so he could turn them into super mutants so they could join his super mutant army called the Unity, and just his conquest is just so interesting. Look up the Master's invasion of Vault 17 and look up how it relates to Fallout New Vegas. You won't be disappointed. The lore is just, it's interesting. And Fallout introduces one of my favorite factions in the universe, the Followers of the Apocalypse. And if you look up the history behind this group, you will see that they've been through a lot. They have struggled a lot, they've been through a lot of hardships, and out of all that struggle and out of all the hardships they've been through emerged a group of people led by a character named Nicole that just want to help people, and they want to teach people lessons. They don't want people to make the same mistakes, and they want to do good things, and they're useful because Nicole, the leader of the Followers of the Apocalypse, is one of the people that really helps you out in this game. They tell you that there's a red flag about the cathedral, there's a red flag about the children of the cathedral and some of the stuff they are doing, and it just helps you a lot. The Followers of the Apocalypse, they've had a really tough history. They've had a lot of hardships. If you look up their history, and I'm just going off of memory, you'll find out that how they got started was they were a settlement near the Glow, I believe. And since they're near the Glow, and the Glow is just has so much radiation in it, a lot of the people in that settlement got sick and they started dying. And out of all that hardship emerged this group that wanted to do better in the world. Even though they've been through so much, and most people, they would have turned into cold-hearted bastards. They would have gotten really nihilistic about the world. They would have became jaded and just really pissed off, and I don't blame anyone for doing that after what they've been through. I'm sort of that way, but they just want to do good things. And they're really useful too, and that also helps. Just very interesting. One of my favorite factions in the Fallout universe, and it's just really cool that they were introduced in Fallout 1. And I wanted to bring this up since the Followers of the Apocalypse reminded me of this. When you're going through life, at least from my personal experiences so far, you will often find that the most humble, the kindest people out there, the people with generally good hearts, most of them are people that have been through hardships, been through some real shit, and a lot of them have been through stuff that they have no control over. It's not their fault they got it, but they're strong individuals. They have strong wills. They're just not weak. They won't let you step on them, but they're very kind, they're very modest, they're very humble, and those are the people that I respect the most, and they have the most courage in this world. And the Followers of the Apocalypse just remind me of that a bit. I don't want to go into life that much. So, about Fallout. Fallout is a really bleak and dark game. If you really look into the history, you really look into the lore, you play the game, you find out the events, it's really bleak, and it's definitely really fucking depressing, some of this stuff, but that's what makes Fallout great. It's not supposed to be this happy-go-lucky world where everything's sunshine and rainbows and lollipops. It's the aftermath of a fucking nuclear apocalypse, and you have super mutants running around. You have these fucking terrible gangs. You have ghouls, and they look fucking disgusting, and they could talk to you, and you're wondering what the fuck's going on. And you have the Master, and look what the Master looked like, and look what the fuck he's doing. It's not supposed to be fucking happy. And I think that's one of the things that's missing in the other Fallout titles, just it being extremely bleak and dark. Don't get me wrong, I do like the humor that was introduced in the later Fallout games, like Fallout 2, with a lot more pop culture references, and it being more goofy than bleak. But still, I miss that general and that really deep sense of dark and just bleak and fucking crazy depressing that we got in Fallout 1. I wish we would get a good Fallout game that is just as bleak as the first Fallout. And I don't mean bleak like everything's dark. I'm talking about the atmosphere, the way the areas are, the background of each area, the dialogue, and just how everything is just fucking depressing in a good way because it's entertaining. That's what Fallout is. It's supposed to be like that. But I could take it either way. I could take a humorous, a funny Fallout game like Fallout 2 with some serious stuff added in. It's not just all fun and games in Fallout 2, but I just want another bleak and dark Fallout like the first one. Just think about it. Just think about how fucked up the first Fallout was. You go into areas like the Glow, and this was a research facility that got fucked up and destroyed during the nuclear holocaust, and over time it just turned into this cesspit of radiation. And just to get into the Glow, you have to take Rad-X, or you have to have some form of protection against radiation, or you will die. There was a settlement near the Glow, and the people in the settlement got sick, and some of them died because of how toxic the Glow was. But you want to go into this area, you want to figure out what's going on. Look at places like the Cathedral in Fallout. First off, you gotta go into this fucking area with all these crazy cult looking motherfuckers in robes, and you see this TV and it says obey unity or something like that. It's just like a mind control. It's just telling you to be a fucking slave. And as soon as you get into the basement after dealing with Nightkins, and Nightkins are awesome, that's another thing that this game also introduced, Nightkins, the smart super mutants. But after you're done dealing with the fucking Nightkins, you go into the basement, and what do you run into? You run into the fucking Master, this fucked up looking being where it has like a eyeball tentacle thing. It's connected to this computer, and the way it talks, it has a girl voice and a guy voice, and it sounds something like this. So what will it be? Do you join the Unity, or do you die here? Join, die. Join, die. Who's gonna rule the world? The ghouls? The ghouls. And you gotta have an intelligent conversation with that motherfucker, or you gotta fight him. And you also go into an area called Junktown, where guess what? The doctor is selling human body parts. Yay, isn't that great? And you also go into an area called the Boneyard, where there's two gangs fighting, the Blades and the Regulators. And the Regulators are like a police state. They're like a police force that is just cruel, and they're tyrannical, and they're led by a guy named Caleb, and he's very sadistic, and he has a thing for watching the leader of the Blades, I forget her name, but he has a thing for watching her get tortured or just sadistically killed. Just shit like that, man. That's fucking awesome in the game. We need another Fallout game that's depressingly bleak like that and fucking crazy and insane. Well, to be fair, Fallout has always had humor in it, and the first game is no exception. For example, one of the Brotherhood of Steel members will shout out, "It's time to kick ass and chew bubblegum." So there has always been humor in Fallout. I don't want you guys to come off with the impression that I think all of the other games are just goofy with no serious stuff in it. No. My other favorite Fallout games, Fallout 2 and New Vegas, they have plenty of serious stuff in it. I'm just talking about having another good Fallout game that is as bleak as the first one. Don't copy anything from it, or at least don't copy much, but you know what I'm talking about. And this just popped up in my mind. You see, this is what happens when you go off the cuff. You just get just my raw commentary without any editing, just me shooting straight from the fucking hip. And I was not gonna forget about this. Fuck the Brotherhood of Steel, especially in the first Fallout game. I've never liked that faction. They're elitist, they're obnoxious, they're a bunch of fucking pricks, a bunch of cunts. They think they're better than everyone else, they're snobby, and their ideology is flawed. They're very paranoid, they don't trust outsiders, they don't want to have many new members. Well, how the fuck do you survive over time? You motherfuckers, the old guard ain't gonna live to be 500. You need new members, you need people to reproduce, but they're very picky about that because they think they're like the chosen ones or some bullshit like that. And I hate seeing them in Bethesda games because even though their ideology is flawed, they somehow butcher the lore, and they come back in Fallout 3 and 4 and probably Fallout 5 as some fucking superpower or something. But for those that don't know, well, you're going to learn now. In the first Fallout game, in order to become an initiate of the Brotherhood of Steel, in order to get their help and go inside their base, they send you on this grand mission. And what is this grand mission? You have to go to the Glow and retrieve something from a dead Brotherhood of Steel member. Well, what's wrong with that, Che? Well, they didn't tell you that the Glow has a lot of radiation in it and you're probably going to die. They don't warn you. They don't just, they tell you in a snarky way, oh, watch out when you go there. The other guy guarding the fucking elevator but they have this little smirk and this little smile when they're talking about it, like this goofy way, like they're happy that you're gonna die, or you're probably gonna die when you go there. And they don't even give you a warning. They don't even take you serious. So fuck you for trying to send people on a death mission. And I'll say it once again, fuck the Brotherhood of Steel. Now, I can't talk about Fallout without of course mentioning the great soundtrack. I've already talked about the soundtrack many times. I made a video about it, so I won't go too much into it in this video, but it's fucking awesome. My favorite theme is the glow, and it just really does a great job of fucking making you feel like you're all alone out there in the wasteland. And you are, because what are you gonna do? There's not many useful companions in Fallout. Yeah, you have some of the Brotherhood of Steel members. Sure, they really help out, but that's only for a small period of time. Who are you gonna rely on? Ian? Here's a tip for you. Don't rely on Ian. Don't recruit him, because he gets in the way and he shoots your fucking arm off. He always hits you for some reason. Ian is one of the most useless party members ever. Don't recruit him. Walk past him in Shady Sands. Leave him the fuck alone. Fuck you, Ian. You've hit me so many times. Ian, you are a terrible shot. I don't know why they put you in the game. They probably put him in there to troll us and annoy us. Good job, Interplay. You did a great job of fucking annoying me with Ian. Never use him. Now, I think it would be appropriate of me to give some newer players or people that want to do another playthrough some tips. My own personal tips. I've played this game many times, so I would be an asshole if I didn't give my 2 cents. When you create a character, you should focus on agility. That is the most important skill. It helps you move around, it gives you more action points, and since the combat in this game is turn-based, action points are your friend. I also put a lot of points into luck. That's just me. I like getting the special encounters, and it helps overall. You really don't need charisma. You don't need to have a high charisma, because you can just put a lot of points into speech skill, and it actually helps better in my opinion. The skills that I invest into are small guns, lockpick, and speech. Those are the 3 skills that I invest in. Later on, I put more into energy weapons. I don't really use any other skill than that. That's just my personal preference. And remember, when you're playing the game, don't get attacked that much, especially if you don't know the combat system that well. Remember, if you can move away from your enemy so they don't hit you as much, do that. Just like boxing, stick and move, attack and run, attack and run. And right in the beginning of the game, your focus should be getting the water chip as fast as possible. After you're done Vault 15, go to Necropolis and deal with that area. Do not wait until the super mutants invade, because once they invade, it becomes harder. And if you want a challenge, go ahead, wait for them to invade and try your best. But if you don't want to deal with that, do it as fast as possible. Once you're done the water chip quest, the timer turns off, and I would just go roam around, level up a bit, and just try to do as many random encounters as possible throughout the world, because you'll need a good starting gun in the game. And I don't like using a pistol. I like using a hunting rifle, and I don't want to buy one, and I don't want to wait till I'm further in the game. So I just save the game, so if I die I can just load, and I just go around and wait until there's like 2 gangs fighting, there's 2 groups of people fighting, and just pick up a hunting rifle or a magnum off of one of the corpses. Just loot bodies like that and sell the stuff that you don't need. It's really not that hard of a game once you get into it, especially once you get the power armor, if you get the power armor, and especially if you get the alien blaster. I know the alien blaster is sort of a cheat because it makes the game easier, but I love using that gun, and if you have a high luck skill, you're probably going to run into that random encounter. No, not random, special encounter, excuse me. So yeah, energy weapons are fun to use, especially the alien blaster, but I like using the laser rifle. Just don't think too hard. Don't expect this game to hit you like a brick wall. That's the problem. People, they get into CRPGs and they think it's this crazy complex thing, and it might be for them because they're not used to it, but just pay attention to the game and focus. That's the only thing you have to do with CRPGs. You have to really focus and you'll be fine. And you can do a precision shot with some weapons in the game, and you can focus on different body parts. It's not VATS, but you can shoot at different body parts if you want. It takes up more AP. Here's a little tip. Focus on the eyes. They do a fuckload of damage. Focus on the eyes. And one last tip. When you're creating your character, pick the trait gifted. It will help you out. So yeah, those are my beginner tips. Those are little tips that hopefully can help some of you out. I'm not an expert. I've just played the game a lot of times and I know a lot about it, so maybe those will help you out. So yeah, I am happy to have had this long discussion video about Fallout with all of you. I'm getting used to these off the cuff videos where I just go straight from the hip, off the top of the head, no bullet points, no script, and I don't use scripts, but no bullet points, no real structure. So if I sound like I'm new to it, please bear with it. I am going to get better because I want to do more videos like this about other games, but I will definitely do a video like this about Fallout 2 and New Vegas in the future. This is the Fallout 20th anniversary celebration, so of course I will talk about those games more. I am happy to have shared my experiences and my opinion about Fallout and a lot of the stuff that goes on inside the game. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed those little tips. Thank you for watching another video. Let me know what you think about this. If you want to, leave a comment. And as I said before, this is the start to the Fallout 20th anniversary celebration. Get fucking hyped because there's going to be a good amount of Fallout videos heading your way. And please check out the links in the description, especially the one for the charity that I am doing throughout the month of June. If you can donate, please do. If you can tweet it out, let me know. Have a great day.